is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
The preseason is in the rear view mirror. No more guessing, no more snap counts. It's time to talk some football.
Let's do it.
As the next time the Dallas Cowboys take the field, it'll be September 9th against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's a lot of excitement around the fact that, guess what? The preseason's done. And the Cowboys did go 0-4, but guess what? The records don't really matter. And we're going to talk about that and so much more as it is cut down day here at the Star in Frisco. Welcome in to Talkin Cowboys, presented by Tostitos. Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the Dallas Cowboys, here from the SWBC Mortgage Studios. Heckma Harrison, Isaiah Stanback, Rob Phillips. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and let's get right to it. No messing around on this show today. There will be plenty of hooligans on this show today, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What does the cut scene look like right now, Rob Phillips?
Bunch of unofficial cuts right now as we sit here at 11 Central on cut down day. The ones that have been confirmed have been by Jerry Jones on The Fan this morning, and you just put out a stat about the quarterback position.
I did. So the Cowboys,
before the show.
Yeah, the Cowboys cut two quarterbacks. Both Garrett Gilbert and Ben DiNucci have now both been waived by the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are the only team in the NFL, at least at the moment, that has cut multiple quarterbacks. That's something to at least keep an eye on moving forward.
They haven't made the most significant cut in the league at the quarterback position.
Nope. That one came in New England.
Yes. But they have made a couple cuts. Ben DiNucci, Garrett Gilbert. Cut. Cooper Rush. Heck. Isaiah. For now, he's the backup quarterback.
For now.
Along with some other guys. Again, it's unofficial, but there's been reports out of guys like Jaquan Hardy, Brandon Smith, Rondell Carter. Darian Thompson's probably the biggest name besides the quarterbacks that is expected to be released, and the full list will come out somewhere around 3 o'clock Central, or right before then.
And this is one of those crazy days in the NFL that you kind of have to look at. And Isaiah, I know you've been through this before specifically, but what is this day like for the players? I mean, walking in, even Barry Church last week talked about it. He's like, I knew I was on the roster, but it was still a nerve-wracking day. Is that kind of what players are dealing with right now?
Yeah, I don't think that there is a year aside from my first year in the league that I felt like I was safe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the other end of the spectrum from BC. It sucks. There's no other way to say it. For those that haven't been in that situation before, it was very nerve-wracking to say the least. You walk in and all the work that you've been putting in for however many months now, right? They've been rolling since, March, April, around there, okay? Been rolling since April. Every day you've been showing up. You've been eating with a purpose. You've been training with a purpose. You've been studying with a purpose. You've given it your all at OTAs. You've given it your all at training camp in the preseason games. And now everything comes down to now you're replaying everything that you've ever done over those past 6 months, right? You've been replaying everything. You're just like, okay, did I do this right? All right, and in a game, did I make this play? Oh man, I should have been in this shade. I should have done this. Oh man, I can't believe you're literally replaying everything that you could have done, and you're analyzing it, you're critiquing it, and you're giving yourself a grade, and then you're looking at your guy next to you, and you're like, man, does he better than me than this? So everything you're stressing. It is the most stressful thing you've ever seen in your life, and you're looking for this guy called the Grin Reaper. Back in the day, it was a dude by the name of Bruce Mays.
Best hair ever.
Best hair ever. But there's one person on the team that's responsible for letting you know, hey, player, I need you to go grab your playbook.
So you were tight with Bruce, but you didn't want to see Bruce.
You didn't want to see Bruce on that day. Yeah. You don't. I'm a person that grew up being taught have eye contact when you talk to somebody. You have eye contact, you greet somebody, and that day it's like you got cataract. You just walk around with your eyes kind of looking around because you don't want that person looking in your face and be like, I need you to come with me. I've been cut 5 times. 5 times, and every single time you walk into the building, your stomach is just locked up because you know it's coming, and you're watching guys go. It's not like it happens all at the same time. You come into the locker room and you might see Rob P putting his stuff in a doggone garbage bag in his locker. You be like, dang, they got you. Yeah, man, they got me. And he's like, all right. You start saying goodbye to everybody, and then you might see Heckma. Heckma's like, Heckma might be pissed off at his locker. He's just sitting there shaking his head like, dang, they got you, Heck. Yeah, man, they got me, man. It's some BS, whatever, whatever it might be. And then, you're looking at Kyle like, man, this is just me. Right? And you start going down the roster. You're like, okay, we play the same position. They're only keeping this many guys. There's one of us has got to go, and you're just sitting there looking around, and then you see that dude come in the locker room. You're like, oh shoot, here he come. Right? And it's like, who's he going to? You're watching his footwork. You're watching everything, and then it sucks, man. I want to. Kudos to everybody who's given it their all over these past months. I know this position all too well. Regardless of what happens today, even the guys that get through today might not be there tomorrow.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. That you have the initial cuts, and then there's the follow back.
There's a follow up. Yes, so you can't just be comfortable.
Nobody can get comfortable, but there are 31 other teams going through the same process, and so for the front office, they have to be on their P's and Q's, looking for guys that are falling off of rosters that can help yours. True. And so, like you talk about being cut 5 times, but then you have a Super Bowl 2 player. Give me some of that. But then at the same time, you had to trust the process of what you did, and a lot of these guys that are going to hit the waiver wire won't make it because other teams have seen what they're doing, and they'll get an opportunity to go play elsewhere. And that's a testament to the work that you put in during these times. Like you say, you're second-guessing yourself. Did I do this? Did I do that? But you did, right? Yep. And who are those guys on our team? Who are those guys that won't get past waivers? Who are those really tough decisions? I think today for the Dallas Cowboys is very important. You can't undermine or play this down because the guys that you choose to go into the season with are going to say a lot about what you think about your organization. After COVID, and going after preseason, Mike McCarthy's era starts now. Yeah. If you just want to give him a mulligan for last year, however you want to look at it, it's true. So his decision and what he does with this 53 is going to be very, very important because it's going to seal his legacy.
Isaiah almost described that like a relationship. Like going through my mind, like she broke up with me, like, why did I say this? Why did I wear that? That kind of thing.
And to be honest with you, this process, this day, is single-handedly probably one of the reasons, not the training camp, not any of that stuff. This day right here is one of the reasons why guys just decide, I just rather not because it's so stressful. It's not just today. It is the last 4 weeks of the preseason. And every time you make a play or don't make a play, you're like, man, that was it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
How much is a guaranteed contract in the NFL? If you make one of these rosters.
Me talking about the minimum?
Guaranteed minimum for.
I think it's around 700, 600 something.
Man, I will shake a coconut out of a tree for $600,000.
And the drop-off is substantial.
But that's not even guaranteed.
It's not.
I mean, that's.
Tell me a job in these Americas that you could get $600,000 for doing. Well, I will tell you, I would do it a million times.
Let me let the people know. Let me let the fans know. Fans. That $600,000 that Heck was talking about, that is a minimum. I know everybody out there is like, oh my goodness, those guys make too much money. That is a week-to-week contract. Yep. That is a week-to-week contract. You are earning your keep every single week. And not only that, are you competing against the guys on your team, you're competing against the thousands of other guys that they can go grab and do it cheaper.
Yeah.
Always.
If you could do it all over again with all the pressure placed on you and everything, would you do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yes.
Babe Laufenberg, radio analyst. He was the color analyst on the TV broadcast. He brought up a really good point during the TV broadcast against the Jaguars, and he said, this is the first time that a lot of these players, at any point in their football career, are going to be told they're not good enough. A lot of these, especially these young guys, these rookies, Jaquan Hardys and the Brendan Knox and the Osiris Mitchells, the guys who, at least in high school, were stars, and then they went to their college and they were starters, and they put up big-time numbers enough to get to the NFL, and then now you get to the NFL, and you're told you're not good enough. And that's why it makes it so much harder, not only just on the players, but on the families as well. So it's an interesting day. It's a tough day. And it's one that the Cowboys have to get right. And I think that's kind of what the balance has to be, is the Cowboys have to get it right, and it's also the human side, the human element of the game as well, Isaiah.
I have a 9-year-old daughter by the name of Nadia. Every time she goes out to practice or goes to a game, and you might attest to this because your son plays ball too.
Yeah.
I tell her, do your best and get better. Every single time. Every time she goes out to practice, I said, what are the 2 things you have to do today? Do your best and get better. What happens today is doing your best, getting better is not good enough.
Yeah.
And that sucks. When I've done my best and I've gotten better and it's still not good enough, what do? What does that do to you mentally? And that's the battle that these guys are going to be facing today.
And that's, Hard Knocks has that formula of following guys that are on the fringe or are long shots. And some people don't like it as much because they want to see the stars and all that. But like that to me,
it's the stories. Yeah.
That's basically the essence of training camp is you try to win a job that's really, really hard to get and really, really hard to hang on to in a profession that nobody on this planet can really relate to in terms of what the physical demands are.
And that's why a story like Kurt Warner is so intriguing. A guy that never gives up on his dream. Guys that have that confidence, that come back again and again and again and bet on themselves and double down on themselves. And there are a lot of guys around the NFL that end up like that. So, no matter what, like you said, I love what you said about picking yourself up and obviously just going back to those opportunities and again and again. And so there are going to be a lot of names. Building this 53 is what's important. Hey, we got rid of Double G today, man. That was a blow.
Yeah, let's talk about
that was a blow.
Let's talk about the quarterback position. The next segment, we're going to get into Darian Thompson a little bit and what his next steps could potentially be, because I don't necessarily think he's done with the Cowboys yet, and I'll explain that when we get into the next segment. But quarterbacks, Cooper Rush has won the job, at least at the moment, like we said, at the backup quarterback position. Something that we started kind of seeing the shift of heading into the Jacksonville week whenever he started getting that first-team reps. And Mike McCarthy alluded to Garrett Gilbert being kind of demoted on that depth chart. And then Ben DiNucci, it kind of happened throughout the preseason. But, Rob, what are your thoughts at the backup quarterback position as we stand today and based off of what you saw on Sunday?
I'm curious to see if they're done. That was the big thing that I was curious about coming out of Jerry Jones's interview on The Fan this morning. And he was asked specifically, are they going to look for help? And he didn't say no. But he did say, quote, pretty high bar in terms of somebody coming in and having the background with the offense that Cooper Rush has. And so people can look at that and say, from a talent perspective, could they come in and upgrade that position? Sure. But they have to weigh that. Could somebody come in and have that familiarity with Kellen Moore's system and overtake Cooper Rush? Do they even want to keep a third guy on the 53, or could you look to add somebody on the practice squad? Could Ben DiNucci be that guy? We'll see. The competition is just weird to me because they went the whole camp basically with Garrett Gilbert in one position, and then it shifted for one game.
It was his job to lose.
And then it was over. Yeah, you're right. That's really what happened. Yeah. And they did not see enough. And Cooper Rush got healthy. And, I don't think the struggles the offense had on Sunday, they held against him because Jacksonville's playing starters and they weren't. So they'd seen enough to give him the job, and he's been in this position a lot of times. I am curious to see what's going to happen, though. If they're definitely going to look. I just wonder what they're going to do with space that they have. Heck's smirking at me.
I don't even know.
Why are you smirking?
Well, it's such a tough predicament to be in with your backup quarterback, and you don't have a proven guy there. Look at the snaps, look at what he's done, and you're basically it's all conjecture because you don't know exactly what he'll do in a role as a backup quarterback. I hope, and what we all $75 million worth of hope is placed on number 4, being healthy. And if Cooper Rush never takes a snap, then thank you, Lord, because that means number 4 has been healthy all through the season. We don't have to worry about that, and that's been his reputation up until last year. 10 months of inactivity, and now we're really staring at the great unknown going into Raymond James Stadium. And with Cooper Rush as the backup, you can't feel good about that. No matter what words you say to comfort yourself, you don't feel good about that. And so this team is obviously still looking around the NFL to see if there are any other players out there to kind of solidify the backup position.
They're not done.
They're not done looking,
they're not,
sure.
They're not done. The way that the league has set up over the past few years in terms of increasing your practice squad players and in terms of allowing for you to bring guys up on game day, they are not done. They will sign another quarterback. I've been saying this for the past few weeks. I foresee them, and it's obviously indicative too in terms of the restructuring last week. I think that wasn't just by chance.
But they didn't make a move
yet.
Okay, so
Yet.
so the move that Philly made, you don't think that we could have at least made that same move?
Yes, we could have made. I think we could have. We could have.
They could have.
They could have
been
but
interested, and we don't know that.
I think there's more things that are going to happen today and over the next 5 days than we probably can even imagine right now. And one of them, obviously, I believe, will be the quarterback position. I think that we have to get a quarterback in here that if Dak went down, there is no question can that person play. How much of the system can he run? I'll say that again. Can he play? Yes. They need guys. They need somebody to step into the huddle and that everybody can look at him and be like, if nothing else works, he can take off and run.
So now that we can actually do this and not get called to the principal's office, I'm going to throw some names
Throw
out
them
there.
out there, Kyle.
Let's see if we move the needle. Just give me a yes or a no if this moves the needle for you. And the first name that popped up, Cam Newton. Does it move the needle?
Yes.
Why?
Because Cam Newton is in a he's in a peculiar predicament right now where he needs a year of not being the guy. He needs a recalibration year.
An Andy Dalton year.
He needs an Andy Dalton year. And you see Andy Dalton went out there, he has himself a starting job, at least
for now.
But I think Cam Newton allows for you to do the same thing that Mr. Jones was talking about, come in and run the same offense. You don't have to change what you're calling. Now he has to learn the system, but he comes in and he has the same type of skill set. He can run, he can throw. He's a big guy. He can, all those kind of things. He has an arm, so we don't have to worry about underthrowing our receivers that we have. So all those kind of things. Now there's a whole lot of other stuff that we don't know about on the back end, obviously, as far as the mental and his ability to learn all those kind of things. But in terms of attributes, physical attributes, he fits the mold.
Jameis Winston, another guy who took a year for a little bit, and hey, maybe he ends up being something special there. So is that a yes for you too?
That's a no.
Okay, why?
He's not vaccinated. I don't want him anywhere. Cam is not vaccinated. Okay. I don't want him near Dak. All right, I need you to be available. I don't need anything hypothetical to happen. I don't need that. We need all hands on deck. We don't need no funny business, okay? So if you want to be available, and I feel like Cam is a victim of his own whatever it is in New England. I feel like he opened the door for what happened to him. And so, no, I don't want him.
Rob?
Does it move the needle? Absolutely. I mean, like without question, he's a bigger name than Andy Dalton. He's had a better career than Andy Dalton. When Andy Dalton signed last year, it was like, holy crap, that's the best backup the Cowboys have ever had. Do I think it's likely? Not really. I mean, beyond what you guys just said, does he want to be a backup? Does he want to do that?
He doesn't have a choice.
And maybe you're probably right.
There are so many other teams out there that need a quarterback that right now think they solidified that could use Cam. You don't think the Washington football team could use Cam right now?
I don't think they
so.
would put him over Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Over Fitzpatrick. Wait a minute.
So.
Whoa. Time out.
Here we go.
Whoa. So you're going to tell Cam Newton and Fitzpatrick
on that team?
Yeah.
On that team,
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
for sure.
What are y'all talking about?
But
that's his.
I'm not even hesitating.
That's his. Ron Rivera.
That's his guy.
Ron Rivera coached.
Ooh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
I know.
That's what.
Time out. Let's go back, Jim Shrews. That's what I'm telling you.
But hang on. To me, though, it's a little bit like what Jerry said about Cooper Rush, but on a much larger scale.
Absolutely.
The season starts in 10 days. You're not bringing a guy in to be a starter.
You just said,
days.
Can a guy understand my system? And if I've played for that guy, then I already know what his system is. And you're talking about Fitzpatrick in a year where they have a defense, all the things that would benefit a quarterback like Cam. What you say, if he don't know anything, if all things break down, what?
Hey,
run.
I don't disagree with you.
What can Cam do?
I don't disagree with you. I
don't want him there.
I don't know how tight him and Rivera. I don't know if Rivera wants to revisit that.
Could
we don't know.
Not,
we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Right? I'm just talking about as far as what attributes, physical attributes he brings.
What I'm saying is I'm not talking about Cam in a sense that he doesn't have anything to offer. I'm talking about for what we have right now. We didn't pay Dak $75 million to bring that kind of circus to town. We got enough things going on. I'm saying that he has an opportunity other places that he can play right now. He still has that. He still can give you something.
So let's ask it this way. Would you rather have Cooper Rush as your backup or Cam Newton?
I'd rather not have to try and make that decision.
No. You got to choose. Which one would you rather have? Because there's a whole lot of other things that we can take into consideration, but just physically,
all things being considered equal. You know the answer. Absolutely. Don't ask me a retourical question.
So that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
Yeah. But there's other factors. You guys mentioned other factors. There's money involved. Like what would he want to play for? Does he want?
What is he worth playing for?
Well, yeah, that. I mean, like
he played under hardly anything last year, didn't he?
It was $1 million.
It was a stupid
in comparison to
number.
quarterbacks. Let me just say that, people.
Yeah. Well, sure. But I mean, we don't know exactly what the reasoning was too. Like, did they think that he didn't want to sit behind a rookie, and so he doesn't want to be in that situation? Like Isaiah is right. This late in the game, you may not have a choice. But he's had a great career. This guy's won an MVP
2015
before.
MVP.
Yeah,
talk about it.
It might have been one of those things, and we talked about this last year in certain scenarios, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we're going to give you every shot you possibly can to win this job. If you win it, great. If not, we're going to let you go and do something else because we don't want to hold you up, sort of deal. So maybe that's why it's so late in the game. But you're right. I think great points on both sides of the argument because it's not a cut and dry.
No.
Let's go get Cam Newton.
No, not at all.
It is not that easy. And Heckma made that very, very clear. But it also, at the same time, on the field, it makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense to look at. I'm going to throw some other names out here before we go to break. I can't even say that name. Can't say that one either. Anthony Gordon, Kansas City Chiefs, second-year guy out of Washington State.
Just because he went to Washington State. No.
Yeah, you hate him because you're a Washington guy.
Wait.
Case Cookus, probably not. KJ Costello from the Chargers. He was a Stanford guy. And there's both of our guys. Clayton Thorsen, former Cowboys backup, released by the Giants. Maybe Cooper Rush comparison? Maybe yes, no.
I just don't. I mean, Cooper's got way more experience.
You don't make a move unless it's a
move, right?
Yeah, Cam or some other guys that we can't talk about.
And I think that's what Jerry meant by the high bar. In addition to, we don't know what their budget is, what they want to spend at the position. He mentioned the waiver process and like there's competition there, especially at that position. If the guy, goes through waivers that you might like. So there's other factors here.
That's kind of my point here of reading these names off. Is going throughout the backup quarterback competition, we're looking at guys and we're saying
we're up there on the waiver list, though, aren't we?
That's a good question, and I don't know exactly where it is.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But we were waiting for names to just slip off of these rosters, and no big names are slipping with the exception of maybe Cam Newton. Duck Hodges, another one on there. Josh Rosen. Josh Johnson is on there too from the Jets. Yeah.
The Twitterverse mentioned Will Greer from Carolina, who's worked with Doug Nussmeier.
He's a West Virginia guy.
But again, that's waivers, and if they're even interested.
Was cut?
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, we'll see.
A lot
That's
of
an
people
eyebrow
were
raise.
They're gonna look.
Everybody compared him in that cut to Ben DiNucci here, at least from what I had seen from
Eyebrow
Carolina
is
fans.
the opposite of eyebrow raising that's been back there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't.
Said, like,
I don't have a
frustration
point of
levels were
reference. I don't have a
similar.
point of reference on him other than what he did at West Virginia. So that is.
It's a good point. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I've got friends with Carolina.
Thank you.
And they're
I know
saying,
you in like Flynn. Dog. I wasn't questioning that.
They're saying Ben DiNucci. It's pretty even with Will Greer. So hopefully.
Do y'all bring DiNucci back to practice squad? Do you hope he clears?
I mean, you bring
I'm out on
Nucci, man. Y'all are some traders, man. Y'all switched on y'all boys so fast.
I didn't say no.
I did.
You switch sizes. Is
Yeah.
that
No,
is that what kind of friend you are? You a switch sizes?
Not. I mean, if you can't throw the football on your front foot, no. I mean,
his decision. I mean, not here. I mean, I'd rather have Double G.
See, that's the thing. Like, you could bring Double G back to the practice squad.
I'd rather have Double G.
Absolutely, and give yourself a third guy who's not counting towards your active roster.
And in my head, I know Heckman doesn't agree with this. If you're in position to bring in a Cam, you bring Cam in to be the backup, and you rush down to your practice squad.
Why are you gonna do us like that all year? Come on, don't do us like that.
I'm just telling
because
you.
Y'all, listen, you know what's gonna happen if you bring in something like that. If we hypothetically lose the first two games, you're sitting there in Philadelphia at home, and Dak is having a horrible start to the season, and the Boo Birds come out in the third, and Rob is writing about, oh my God, we could just rest him and put Cam. I don't want that.
Happen.
if this
it wouldn't
is
happen.
2017, maybe, but not 2021.
My whole thing is you just need a guy that steps in there that guys.
so.
Y'all don't think about the critics ready to pounce on.
I don't care about critics. I never have cared.
I'm talking about the outside. I'm talking about the world of Twitterverse and people that talk about.
Are you talking about the people that don't like Dak? Because they're going to find any reason to do that. But there's like that group of people is dwindling very quickly.
So you think bringing Cam would be a good thing?
And would Jerry love that? Absolutely.
Sell some jerseys.
Would Jerry love that? Absolutely.
I mean,
I don't know I don't know the back end. I don't know the how he is with teammates. I don't know how he is with learning, and I don't know all that. I'm talking about physical attributes. If you lose Dak, you bring in Cam, you feel good.
It's the old Brian Broaddus approach. Can he play? Can he play? I don't care about really anything. Just can he play?
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely he can.
Go get RG3.
I haven't heard anybody saying anything that Cam Newton's a bad teammate.
No.
I haven't heard anybody say that. Every time I see Cam, he's dancing. Everybody loves being around him. He's always in position to be QB1, right? Obviously on the teams that he's been on. He's a great candidate, in my opinion, based off the information that we have, to be a backup for Dak. And I think he needs a year to chill. Because I don't think right now he's not being respected around the league as a QB1.
Kind of like Dalton chilled.
Just like Dalton chilled. And then what did he do?
Goes and gets a starting job.
Got $10 million from Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, hey, it could happen. Plenty of dominoes that haven't fallen yet, and plenty that have already fallen. I mean, there's so much left to go, and this is what we've got to work with. Like you said, a lot of surface level thought process on this. While the Cowboys reportedly will kick the tires on Cam Newton moving forward. When we come back, we'll address some of the other cuts, including Darian Thompson. How long is he going to be out on the open market before the Cowboys reel him back in, a special teams core guy? Out on the market, cut today. We'll talk about it next when we come back with more Talkin Cowboys presented by Tostitos.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Now, this is a read I can get behind. Check out the new Miller Lighthouse, located on the west side of AT&T Stadium, where Dallas Cowboys game day traditions are born. Enjoy $5 12-ounce beers, yard games, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders performances, and so much more. For more information, you can go and visit attstadium.com/Miller Lighthouse. Miller Lighthouse, your tailgate just got jealous.
P, you got to meet me at the Lighthouse. $5, 12-ounce. Come on.
I'm in. Find a babysitter. I'm in.
Well, you're going to be at the game anyways, right?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
yeah. So you should already have a babysitter at least at that time. So no excuses.
You see that? He built that in.
Did you see how quick he went to that?
Yeah, he just built that in there.
Goodness.
He got a bunch of homeboys that he hadn't seen.
In like 18 months on top of the baby.
Glad you're with us here at Talkin Cowboys presented by Tostitos. Couple other names that we maybe haven't mentioned so far that were cut throughout the day or waived at the moment. Unofficially, by the way, these are all reported. Brandon Smith, wide receiver. Johnny Dixon, wide receiver. Braylon Jones, Eric Smith on the offensive line. Defensive line, Rondell Carter, Austin Failue, defensive tackle. And then we've got in the secondary 3 safeties, Tyler Coyle, Stephen Parker, a corner, Deontay Burton, and the third safety is Darian Thompson. And that's where I want to start this segment on. It's Darian Thompson. I mean, we saw him without pads on Sunday. We thought he was a no-pad Week 4 guy, at least from the looks of it. It was kind of a surprise that he was in that group. But you wouldn't think to see his name on the waived list today. But, Rob, when you look at this move, is this just kind of a housekeeping move to maybe potentially bring him back for special teams roles?
That, either
or
the 53.
Depth and safety?
Yeah, that or, practice squad. And, again, you guys mentioned it. Like, you can call up 2 guys a week. So that they did that with Brandon Carr last year. They signed him to the practice squad, and at least initially
they did that with
to start
Parker.
the season, Parker too. So you've got more flexibility with your practice squad, 16 players, and there's guys on this unofficial list that I could see being back on the practice squad tomorrow if they clear.
And Darian Thompson should be one of them because of him being a special teams contributor. So this may be that fragile balance that they're doing by cutting the guy, hoping he clears waivers and he'll be back.
He's vested, I believe. So I think he's vested, but I'll double check.
But what does that mean? I've heard that before. A guy being vested. What's different about a vested guy?
You have a certain number of accrued seasons. I think it's 4. So you're not subject to waivers, and that's important because they've got at least 3 guys, I think, that need to be on the roster for 1 day and then go to IR for the minimum of 3 games. Ooh. That's just the way the rules work. So you've got to keep Neville Gallimore, Josh Ball, Sean McCune, maybe a couple other guys. Terrell Basham's had an ankle for a while. If you put them, but that means you got to cut somebody maybe you'd want to bring back.
Well, how does
Thompson
PUP
is vested, by the way.
He's vested,
yep.
Okay.
How does PUP affect that? I know it's like 6 weeks with PUP.
PUP is a minimum of 6 weeks. So that's Chauncey Golston and Tristan Hill most likely going from active PUP to reserve PUP. So they're not cuts, but that's a way to remove 2 spots at least for 6 weeks. So saying all this, we did a 53-man roster projection after Sunday's game, and it was quite frankly a pain in the ass because you're trying to account for all of these moves that they've got to make. You've got TJ Vasher too, who's on NFI, who could revert to reserve. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts here in the next couple days.
And Stephen Jones said that on the pregame show, not this past week, but the week prior against the Texans. It was the pregame show, and he said, just keep an eye out. He said, just don't freak out at first because you're going to see some names that probably shouldn't be released, and it's because there's going to be moves coming. There's going to be moves that follow this and make up that 53-man roster.
The other part of it, too, is they've got 4 guys who I assume are all going to be on the 53 by the end of the week, but are not right now because they're on the COVID list. So they're not technically – they don't have to be part of the 53 today. CeeDee Lamb, Carlos Watkins, KZ, and Connor Williams. So that's another –
what are you talking about? You just went so deep right there.
I'm just telling you, like, what you see today, you're right. Like, it's not going to be the exact same thing by the end of the week. They've got a lot of moves to make here.
I am not a math major. You guys already know this. This is why I'm in broadcasting. But so 53 man, but you have 3 COVID guys. You have 2 guys. Okay, 4 COVID guys. You have 2 guys on PUP. Could be 3 if you want to transfer TJ Vasher over. So there's basically 60 guys that you have that aren't going anywhere, but then you got to kind of mix them around, and then you'll have to make tougher decisions down the road, right?
Yeah.
If I'm getting what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I wonder, you go to 53, but you have to account for 4 guys on reserve COVID that are coming back. So do you make 4 cuts on Thursday when they're supposed to hopefully be cleared to come back? Or how do they work that? Also, another one, the only injury of note coming out of the game Sunday was Kelvin Joseph getting hurt with the groin injury. Groin injuries, Isaiah, don't take 3 days.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Is that going to take him a couple weeks to come back? Do you put him on recallable IR? They have a lot of decisions to make here, and I know it's like it gives you a tired head, but I'm just saying it's not a simple cut to 53 today.
What do you think about the longevity, Isaiah, of a groin injury? It was a left groin officially for Kelvin Joseph, and they thought he was questionable at first, but then they turned it back around. Said he was out.
There's so many different ways that can go. I mean, a groin injury could take anywhere from I need 3-4 days off to I need 4 weeks off.
Right.
So it just really depends on what grade. There's usually a 3-grade scale, first, second, or third, to in order to determine how it's the severity of it. So nobody knows. We don't know. So they might have just been precaution. Maybe he just tweaked it a little bit, and they're like, okay, you're done. Like, you're one of our main guys. Obviously we just drafted you. We're just going to hold you off. So there's that. You start talking about Thompson. That's the politics of the league, man. This is when I've talked about the politics of the NFL in the past. We're not playing him in the fourth. We're not playing him in our fourth preseason game, so nobody else can get a look at him. But we're going to try to keep him.
Of course,
it's the
move.
Politics of sports, man. So conversation might already been had with him, or maybe they just left him in the dark and just letting him feel as if he was going to be on a roster. I've been in that position before where I didn't play the last preseason game. I was like, I'm good, and then they turn around and cut you. It was like, whoa, wait a minute now. So there's so many different ways. Today's stressful. For not only for the players, but for the team. Because not only are they trying to, for the front office, they're trying to figure out the guys that they have. We have about 60 guys. Maybe Thompson, maybe you're not our 53, but you're our 54th.
Right.
So we don't want you to go nowhere. So we're not going to put you on a field so that you can ball out and somebody can come and pluck you. Right. So we know that you're not going to make our 53. So let's hide you. Let's tuck you down underneath the carpet so nobody can see where you're at.
Here's an example, Heck. When Rico Gathers had to go on IR a few years ago, he made the 53 initially so they could be allowed to put him on IR and keep his contract rights. So Kellen Moore, hey, we're going to cut you today, and then they re-signed Kellen Moore after they put Rico on IR. So you could see that because they've got to do that with several guys.
But, Rob, how many guys can you bring back from IR? Is it 3 still, or is it unlimited?
Unlimited.
Okay.
Unlimited this year. I think the rules are still the same from last year. There's unlimited number of guys, but it's a minimum of 3 weeks.
Got to be on there for 3 weeks, which I think you could say that's probably safe for a couple of guys that would be on that IR. I'm trying to think of maybe Tristan Hill, but he's still going to be on the PUP reserve, right?
6 weeks minimum.
So that's a 6 minimum. Okay,
most likely that's where he's headed, plus Golston too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured that would be the case.
Yeah. No matter what they do, I hope they are hell-bent on getting younger and getting these young guys an opportunity. That's what I hope they're doing.
How do they do that?
Well, I mean, obviously they're making some cuts down. There may be some really tough ones that people don't agree with, but still, if you're going to stay true to what Isaiah says, and I cling to this because I believe in it, how do you rebuild your culture? You got enough young guys that have proven to you in the preseason that they can play. And y'all looked at me like I had 4 eyeballs when I said something about playing the young guys over some of these these veteran older guys. But we have to start looking at stuff like that to get this roster better, to make it better.
When did we do that to you?
Oh, when I said something, when we were having the Anthony Brown conversation, I was saying the Nation, right? Yeah. So that's all.
You wanted Boss Man Fat in the starting lineup week 1.
I think that when you talk about building culture, the future is now. You have some options. Your defensive line is going to be better. I think we feel confident that defensive line is going to be better. And so give these young guys a shot. Give them a shot. Because right now, if Nahshon Wright has a pick 6, he's tied with Anthony Brown in touchdowns. Okay, and Anthony Brown's been in the league a lot longer than him. If Boss Man Fat has 6 interceptions, he matches Jordan Lewis for his career. He bypasses Jordan Lewis for his career. What are we holding on to?
Because I think Kyle's retort that day was against Tom Brady, week 1's Thursday Night Football.
So
ready?
So really, if this is a production-driven business and you haven't gotten the production there, what do you feel so comfortable about?
But I think those guys, I think Anthony Brown has played better than Kelvin Joseph over the 5 weeks.
But I
don't think there's been enough evidence to say he's overtaking him right now.
I understand that, but when you've been a part of the league long enough, Rob, to know if you have a younger, cheaper version, you play that version. And it's not that Anthony Brown has had that quality of snaps that you can say right now he is head and shoulders above.
I hear that. Isaiah probably knows this better than anybody. Like, coaches will, if it's close, they'll side towards the veteran who's proven more and is probably less likely to make a big mistake. If it's close,
they're going to go with the younger guy that costs less.
The history of this franchise, when I've been around here, it's like, we'll go with the vet for now.
But what about the NFL?
It took Miles Austin a long time to crack the starting lineup at wide receiver when he probably was ready a year before that. Even you could say that about Romo. back in the day.
You just
too.
made my point.
No, it took. They went with Bledsoe for a year and a half when they could have just turned it over to Tony and said, "Let's go."
So does Dak Prescott send some snickerdoodle tiff treats to Cliff Averill for what happened to Romo in Seattle? Because if that didn't happen, then you don't even. Dak may have started only 3 years. They went with the younger, cheaper version. Yeah. Just bob your head. Just say yes, and let's so we can go to the next thing.
But that's one scenario where there's probably 100 scenarios the other way.
They went with the younger, cheaper version after Dak had already led them to a 10-1 start.
But you can't lose your job. You can't lose your job supposedly in the NFL from getting hurt. I'm talking about a younger.
That doesn't happen.
So tell me this: you know this better than anybody, man. There are guys right now that are analysts and commentators because the team found the younger version of what they could do. There's guys who are expendable.
They look every day for you. I mean, they look every day to replace guys.
And what are they? You talk about all the time the delicate balance of keeping your salary cap and getting younger on your roster. This is what we're talking about.
Let me throw this out here then. Since we're just throwing whatever. Getting younger, no in this particular situation, but there's a lot of talk about Jalen Smith right now. Would you swap out Jalen Smith for a KJ Wright, who's older but cheaper?
He's still free agent?
Still free agent.
Yeah, he's out there. Is he going to be cheaper, though?
He would be cheaper than $7 million.
Think so?
But the problem with that,
he was like a top 100 NFL guy.
He wants $6-7 million, but nobody's giving it to him.
He probably didn't want to go.
So you get older, you get a little cheaper. Would you be willing to do that?
I'm not.
No?
See what you just did. You're leading me down the Jalen Smith rabbit hole, and I'm not going to go. I'm going to stand right here.
The only kink in that armor in terms of what you're putting out there, everything's great, but if you're going to get rid of Jalen Smith, you're going to pay a hefty chunk of his contract.
He's got his money.
Like it's gonna you're still paying that contract. So
and
the combination
even
of
if you
him
trade
paying,
even
in a trade.
And why would you bring KJ Wright when you have a number 48? You have Cox on your team. Jabril Cox is showing you that he's the younger version of.
I'm just asking.
I understand. I'm just saying
you can compare a 4th-round pick in his rookie year.
I'm comparing a guy that can do the job.
One of the best linebackers in the game.
I'm talking. No. He was one of the best linebackers in the game. Nobody's saying it.
When did that stop?
Well, it didn't stop. He's an older version of himself. He can't do what he was doing 10 years ago. How many years have you been in the league?
You saying he wasn't productive, Us?
What I'm saying is I have the equivalent on the team. And if I put him in a position to be successful, he can make those plays. Because guess what? He has the same coach. So if I can scheme up, and you say, if a guy can play in a scheme and make him a little bit better, I can scheme for a guy like Jabril Cox. I already have Micah Parsons. I can put him in a position to be successful. I don't have to go out on a limb to get an older guy. I have it on my team already.
You're not wrong. Like I'm with you. Like it's important. Young players have to play if they're going to get better. Like
that's a recipe for a Super Bowl roster,
and it is a delicate balance. I'm just saying. Like I'm just trying to think how coaches think in large part, and I think typically if it's close, they're in the business of winning games and they're going to side with the vet. Not always. And you know what? You're right about 2016 in that when Kellen Moore broke his ankle, and they just had and Romo was out, and they just had Jamil Showers and Dak Prescott. They didn't go get whoever, they stuck with him, but it paid off, But I think by and large, sometimes you side with the vet. I do think Kelvin Joseph, if he's healthy, will eventually work his way up and get playing time. I'm still confident of that. I just think based on what we saw in camp, Anthony Brown did nothing to lose a starting job, in my opinion, over 5 weeks.
And I think that's what the case is specifically right now. I in the general thought, if you have an opportunity to go younger, then hell yeah, go younger. I mean, younger and cheaper is always better in the NFL, except whenever you have guys that are okay at the moment. I mean, it's not like Anthony Brown was just getting torched every single play.
When was the last time you were sitting at the edge of your seat going, boy, that number 30 a bad mofo? I'll wait, because you haven't. You hadn't had anything to go off of. And I'm talking about a defense that has to be markedly improved from last year. Okay. They have nowhere to go but up. So what are you holding on to? Because I just said if if Nahshon Wright has a pick six, he's tied with Anthony Brown for career touchdowns, pick sixes.
Mm-hmm.
Diggs doesn't even have one. Diggs has, 3 interceptions last year?
Yeah.
Xavier Howard had 10. What do you want on your team? I'm looking at the rest of the league. I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about the rest of the league. What are we going to do?
Rookie. Why are you getting on the Trayvon Diggs now?
No. You're jumping on the wrong thing. So calm down, Fido, because that's not where I am.
Fido?
That's not where I am. That's not where I am. I'm trying to ask you want to talk about how to make the team better. I'm saying this is how you do it.
I agree.
Thank you. That's all I was asking, Kyle. Jeez.
I'm so confused. I'm lost now. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with Say It With Your Chest Tuesday whenever it comes to Talking Cowboys, presented by Tostitos.
Dang it.
Calm down, Fido.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay. No surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Whether you're watching from home or you're cheering in the stands with Essilor lenses, you can see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more. Essilor on Talking Cowboys.
Slam that microphone to the side like that.
Isaiah tossed that thing. Tossed it. What's the go-to line? You say, toss that man out the club? Is that what you say? I can't say it.
I can't keep up.
You do it all the time. Oh, you do it on Film Room all the time.
Oh, yeah. No white tees in the club.
Yeah, that's what
No
it
white
is.
tees.
Yeah, that's what it is. Welcome back to Talking Cowboys. We're having some fun here on
I've
Big
been to a
Time
club
Tuesday.
in like 15 years. I don't know what the proper dress code is.
Just think about Fresh Prince or Bel Air and Jazzy Jeff getting thrown out the front door.
That's right.
Hey,
Okay.
just imagine that.
Okay.
Uncle Phil, everybody's
Man,
daddy.
Whenever COVID's over, and I mean like
Are you going to the
completely
club?
over, my new goal is to get robbed at the club.
Oh.
Yeah.
Better get me there before 10:30.
You should probably start at the Miller Lite pregame. You should probably start
Start at the
We'll
White
just-
House.
Baby steps.
He wouldn't even bite on a $5 beer. What are you going to do with Rob?
He threw the babysitter out there.
Yeah,
quick.
he's like, let me see if I can find a babysitter.
Even on
You're
game
at
day,
the game.
it makes no
It's
sense.
Saturday,
And he's right there.
Dude, what are you doing? We haven't gotten a chance to talk about it a whole lot, just because of the cuts and the roster moves that are happening at the moment. But what did we think about the final preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars as the Cowboys fell again, 0-4 in the preseason? Heckman, I'll let you start things off. What was your biggest takeaway from AT&T Stadium?
Well, I mean, I took away that Trevor Lawrence is going to be a problem for a lot of years, just by his ball location. I thought defensively it was a trip to see them play their starters. I wasn't looking. I didn't think they were going to do that. But when we didn't play any of ours, then I was like, well, this is just going to be that kind of preseason where we don't get a look at any of our guys our stars on offense. And Look, man, it was just one of those games that you were glad that it was over and we didn't have a whole lot of significant injuries. But as far as the game itself, guys like Burton, I figured it was going to be a long day for him today. Once I saw him compete, and he got burnt a couple of times. So it was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was watching Fehoko and Turner. That's where my eyes were, and obviously in the backup quarterback position. I think based upon that game and the games previous,
What'd you think?
I think Turner solidified his spot.
Yeah. What about Double G? Did you thought Double G did pretty? I thought he did pretty well. I mean,
I thought Double G did pretty well, but by doing well, you show your inconsistency. It was a double-edged sword for him. It sucked.
He doubled down on bad.
I know, right? It was a no-win situation.
It was a no-win.
It was a no-win situation for him.
Yeah, Absolutely. I think by that point it had already been
it was
pretty written up. Yeah. So, what did you see from the offense? Like you said, it's really hard to gauge whenever they're throwing the ones at you defensively, and then Cooper Rush is having to run with the twos and the threes. But the 75-yard touchdown drive prior to the half was probably the best thing that the Cowboys did on offense all day. What did you see that went well in that drive?
I got to think back to it now. Come back to me.
Rob,
about that one.
Which drive?
The touchdown drive, the Garrett Gilbert one?
I mean, I thought he showed pretty good poise. I mean, I thought he bounced back in that game. I think, though, the Cowboys probably had already made the decision at that point, though. Nothing really stood out to me about the offense in that game. The thing that stood out to me the most was the linebacker depth on this team is really good. Like, I don't know if Luke Gifford makes this team,
dude,
but he
flies around.
He was flying around. Jabril Cox had another good game, I thought.
Hamilton had a good game.
That's another thing. The defensive front, you got to see a lot of Justin Hamilton, Bradley Anae, Rondell Carter, and I liked their performances. Like I thought there's some depth there. That now the reports are, Rondell Carter not making this team, at least initially, but they've got some, or they've had some nice young depth on the defensive front as well as linebacker.
Carter was the one that got in on the interception for Mukuamu, right? It was Carter in the big hit on the quarterback. Ball kind of popped up in the air. Mukuamu took advantage and got up and made a play.
What about Mukuamu? I was watching him as well. He had some good plays, and then he had some hesitant plays.
There was one play in the third quarter specifically. Jacksonville was inside the red zone, and there was a run. I can't remember who the tailback was, and Mukuamu had the best position. He was right on top of it. And he stepped to the side.
Yep.
And it was. And I thought back to our conversations on this show, and I was like, that was one where I wanted him to step up into the hole and plug it, and he didn't.
Y'all know I got my Mukuamu pom-poms over here. I'm hoping that you got
it. Me too. I mean, I'm hopeful for the man. I love his skill set, but God, dog, man.
It was a couple, and it's been a whole preseason for the rookie. The inconsistency, but there was something. I mean, and Isaiah, in preseason, guys, they're not showing a lot. And when I saw, there was one play that he made, he came on a blitz and he had a sack. Yep. To me, that showed his value. When you have a 6'4 safety blitzing a quarterback, his height, and I know you talk about throwing lanes and stuff like that, but when you got a 6'4 guy right in your line of sight, that's impactful, and it showed his value.
Absolutely.
And we talked about that as well, his ability to cover a slot receiver. It's the tackling.
In the red zone. They had him playing, he was playing a nickel in the red zone, 6'4 in the red zone. I mean, in the slot, that's a huge advantage for defenses, man. But if they lead with him in that role, then but putting him back at safety where he's actually his position is right now, I don't see it. But then you have to, is he a safety / corner? I mean, what is he?
Yeah. Todd Archer was asking me in the press box, like, how much slot did he play in camp? And I don't remember him doing that much.
I don't think he played any slot.
He did quite a bit on Sunday.
He did some of the games. The last few games.
He did in Arizona.
He did in Arizona, yeah.
That could be.
I don't think he did a whole lot in Canton, though. Like, from what I had charted, I don't really think there was any times that I saw him.
And
that's
not a lot
advantage.
in practice either. But that was something he showed in this game.
Not Canton. I mean Oxnard.
Yeah, Oxnard. Like you said, former corner, kind of can play both spots. And the fact that if Darian Thompson is released here, I think that means he's on the 53.
Mm-hmm. Does it make you feel better about the Mukuamu situation that you've now seen KZ and Hooker both on the field at the safety spot, and you still feel pretty good about Donovan Wilson?
I don't think Mukwamu's a safety right now. I think he's a developmental safety, but I think his greatest impact right now is your nickel. He's a nickel guy for you.
Yeah. And may not be active on game days.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be active on game days to start. I mean, but the ability to bring him in, I mean, you're about to, and obviously he wouldn't play in a Tampa game if he makes a roster, but you're about to face Tampa. These boys are big. They're huge. Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I mean,
have Mike Evans man to man with Anthony Brown, and so look, I'm not doing that. I just
still on it.
No, I just feel like Mukwamu is your future. I think he's a guy that I think he's a guy that if you invest in, that he could be there. He could be there for you. But I'm always reminded, man. Mickey Spagnola, one time we were having a debate, and we were talking about Clinton Dix, and he goes, he's a bridge player. He's the ultimate bridge player, and we've had these guys that have been bridge players, and I think Hooker and Kazee may be a little bit outside of the box on your so-called bridge players. And
I think they could be more than that, but you just don't know yet.
No,
they very well could be bridge players, but at the moment, you want them to not be. You want them to be your future there. If they play up to the talent level that they've shown prior in their careers and prior to injury history.
That's a big old if you going into Raymond James.
Huge if.
Yes, you are.
So safety position still a topic of conversation. Rob, over the next couple of days, what could we expect to see in terms of more roster movement? Because we don't come back till Thursday. And Thursday, by the way, we're going to start previewing the Tampa Bay game because we've only got 2 episodes left after this one, before the Tampa Bay kickoff.
Wow.
Wow. We've got Thursday and we've got Tuesday, and then it's kickoff. So we only have 2 more Talking Cowboys. So what?
Say it with your chest is next Tuesday?
Yeah. Say it with the chest will be Tuesday.
I look forward to winning Christmas trees and more money out of the Stand Back Trust this year. It's going to be awesome, dog.
You guys don't forget. He wants to take money out of my kids' pockets.
Don't forget.
He's a monster.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. We'll start Tuesday, but we also have a Friday show next week too.
Okay.
So we'll have a Say It with Your Chest Friday too. So
when's our next show?
It's Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
We'll know the practice squad by Thursday for the most part. I think they're supposed to get back to work Thursday in practice. So finally, we'll have something else to talk about there. But again, like I mentioned in the second segment, they've got to figure out who's going to IR and all that stuff. We'll have a better idea of and PUP and all that by Thursday, as well as Mike McCarthy said the 4 guys on COVID list should be back in the building by Thursday if everything keeps going the way it is right now, which is good news.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case moving forward, and that the Cowboys don't have to handle that as much as they have in the past. But we've got about 3 minutes left on the show. I want to give grades. I know you guys hate doing this, but I'm going to do it anyways. I want your preseason grade for the Dallas Cowboys. A, B, C, D, E. I guess no E, but F. A, B, C, D, F. Isaiah, I'll start with you.
That's tough.
What's your grade for the Cowboys in the preseason alone, not even talking offseason? So just based off of what you saw.
In the games?
Games and practice. We could throw them both in there.
Whole team.
Whole team.
Yeah, I was about to say
whole team.
Entire team?
Yep.
Here comes a Washington Crisp apple.
C.
C?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty straightforward.
Passing in high school, not passing in grad school.
Okay.
We know Isaiah grades tough. We know
he does.
We did those grades last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we never heard the end of it for being too easy on guys.
Because I literally didn't see any. I don't know what Dak is going to play like on Thursday, and that's a big question mark for me. I didn't see some of the roster moves that I thought would take place during OTAs and also during training camp. I saw the defensive line come together, and I'm most excited about the defensive line. Carlos Watkins, I hate that he got on the list, but he's shown enough for me to think that he would be a guy. But I gotta go C too, because I don't know enough about my offensive line. I don't know enough about my quarterbacks. There's a lot of question marks there, so I'm going C.
I'll give it a D because of the offensive line. It scares me. It scares me a lot, actually.
He's a tough guy now.
Because yeah, you're right. Because I feel a lot better about this defense, and I don't feel much better about this offense a whole lot right now. And and they've rested a bunch of guys. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not doing it because of that. I'm saying because of what I've seen in practice. doesn't necessarily bode well for this offense.
Well, then let me go get my cupcakes and my smelly stickers and put them right on the table here.
Not
Because
you, Pete.
I'll say B, because I would give the defense. I would give the defense an A based off of last year to what we saw over 5 weeks. Very encouraging. I'm not saying it's going to carry over to the regular season. They're going to be a top 5 defense. I don't know that, but I'm just saying what we saw over 5 weeks was very encouraging based off of last year, despite a big injury to Gallimore for a few weeks and all that. Offensively, they had so much non-continuity because of Dak being out and guys being in and out of the lineup that to me that's like almost an incomplete. So
what game was there an A?
What do you mean what game? They barely played their starters in those preseason games. I mean, 2 games they didn't play at all, and then we saw very little of it against in the middle 2 games. In the dress rehearsal game against Houston, they were 0 of 10 giving up on third down defense. Pretty good. I know it's Houston, but I mean, pretty good.
That's not your style, P. We're gonna revisit this on Thursday. I think it's the way
do you guys feel bad about the defense going?
I don't feel bad at all. I don't feel an A. Because an A would mean that you feel good.
I mean, A in terms of progress, not in terms of like
talent.
Yeah, I don't expect him to be a top 10.
He's grading on the curve, Isaiah.
Okay. You want to call it that? Fine. We'll do that. Yeah.
You're inspired.
I'm inspired.
You're inspired.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fair.
Tony Robbins seminar.
I can get with the inspiration.
Okay.
I'm inspired, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we have.
I didn't make declaration about a ranking or anything.
That's why I gave
like
C, because I'm like, C is they're passing.
This is why
we don't know. We don't know yet.
This is why Rob hates doing these grades, because he knows no matter which way he goes, he's going to get berated by Isaiah.
I'm not getting an apple, man. I'm not getting an apple from the teacher.
He's going to get berated either way. But that's going to do it for us here on Talkin' Cowboys. Be sure to join us on Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time, as we begin looking ahead.
It's pecan season.
Ooh, it'll be a week out from week 1, and the Cowboys and the Buccaneers as the preseason is now over. We'll have plenty more updates along the way as well. But for Chris Beam in the back, Heckma Harrison, Isaiah Stanback, and Rob Phillips, I'm Kyle Yeomans saying so long. We'll see you next time on Talkin' Cowboys.
Presented by Tostitos. Bring it back. That's a heartbeat.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!